In my life, I never voted for anybody.
A little over 6 years ago, Nigerians said their president was corrupt, inept, and a weakling, and thus rejected him. When Samuel became old, he made his sons judges over Israel. The name of his firstborn son was Joel, and the name of his second, Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba. Yet his sons did not follow in his ways, but turned aside after gain. They took bribes and perverted justice. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow in your ways. Appoint for us then a king to govern us, like other nations." But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to govern us." Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to the voice of the people in all that they say to you. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being king over them. Just as they have done to me from the day I brought them up out of Egypt to this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so also they are doing to you. Now then, listen to their voice. Only you shall solemnly warn them and show them the ways of the king who shall reign over them." A few elders warned the Nigerian people about the consequences of their actions, but they insisted on having their way. So Samuel reported all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "These will be the ways of the king who will reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them to his chariots and to be his horsemen, and to run before his chariots, and he will appoint for himself commanders of thousands and commanders of fifties, and some to plow his ground and to reap his harvest, and to make his implements of war and the equipment of his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive orchards and give them to his courtiers. He will take 1/10 of your grain and of your vineyards and give to his officers and his courtiers. He will take your male and female slaves and the best of your cattle and donkeys and put them to his work. He will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you shall be his slaves. And in that day you will cry out because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves. But the Lord will not answer you in that day." But the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel. They said, "No, but we are determined to have a king over us, so that we may also be like other nations, and that our king may govern us and go out before us and fight our battles." When Samuel had heard all the words of the people, he repeated them in the ears of the Lord. The Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to your voice and set a king over them." Samuel then said to the people of Israel, "Each of you return home." Saul became king over Israel, and Buhari became president over Nigeria. The people suffered under King Saul. The people suffered and still suffer under President Buhari. As their men are being killed, wives and daughters are raped, and their lands have been taken, just as the elders warned. What will the people do? It seems the only thing we learn from history is that it is called history. More often than not, we repeat the same mistakes over and over again, albeit in different variation, shades, or styles, but they still remain the same mistakes. Some of them are even life-threatening, but it matters not. You know cancer and diabetes have killed several people in your family, but your lifestyle is inviting to the diseases. You know men in your family don't have patience, and so their marriages keep on failing. Yet, you want to marry the most troublesome girl in your town. What do you think will happen? You sell your votes every election cycle, and yet you expect a different kind of leadership. How? The people of Israel saw their mistake, and God chose and anointed David as king over them. God didn't go back to the sons of Samuel, who the people had earlier rejected. The people of Nigeria didn't learn anything from their mistakes, and so here they are, considering going back to Jonathan, who typifies the sons of Samuel, or Tinubu and his ilk, who typify the family of Saul. A people who never learn. As we are, so our nation is. When will people get fed up and start groaning and begging God to have His way? When will we decide that cancer and diabetes will kill one more member of our family? When do we say no more failed marriages in my bloodline? When do we say no more bloodletting in our society? When do we say no more clueless leadership in our land? When do we say less of me and more of God? When do we hand over the reins to God and say, take control, O Lord? We are experts at making mistakes that destroy us, and God is an expert at saving us from our mistakes. But in between the mistake and God's deliverance, there's always a lot of pain and agony. Is that a price you want to keep on paying? Judging by our actions, it seems we are prepared to keep on paying the price. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you doing? What are you saying? What are you watching? Where are you going? Who are you following? Your answers to these questions will tell you what outcome to expect for yourself and for your country. May God help us all do what is right. God bless you all.